I wonder why the ball flew like that. You ever hit shots where you just kind of scratch your head and wonder why the shot started that direction or flew that way? Something kind of funny happened, or just maybe some bad shots that you're trying to diagnose so you can get better. Right after this, let's do a little primer on why the ball flies the direction it does. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Steve with HitItLonger.com. I continue my journey to hit the ball longer and straighter than I ever have before. I hope you get enough value out of this video that you will hit like, subscribe, share, and comment. All right, let's talk about the number one rule of ball flight first, and that is that starting with a wedge, about 75% of the influence on which direction the ball is going to travel, where it's going to start, where it's pretty much where it's going to finish too. 75% of that is going to be in the face, the angle of the club face at the moment of the strike, which is a very small piece of a second. The other 25% is the path. So the path has way less influence, especially on the starting direction, than a lot of good players believe. They just simply don't believe that. They've got their ideas in their head of why they hit, let's say, the pull hook, for example. A lot of good golfers will hit a pull hook. They think that they must be outside to in because the ball's starting left, when most pull hooks are actually coming from an inside out, even an overly inside out path. So remember that the ball's going to start on a driver as much as 82% of the face angle. So you could have a club path excessively inside out, but if the face is somewhat closed, the ball is going to start left, and then it's going to curve the difference between the face and the path, which can be quite large even for a good golfer. Now, the 75-25 or 80-20 rule has one caveat, and that is if you strike the ball directly in the center of the club face. So, sounds like an easy formula until you start adding in the extra dimension of the face location of the strike. Even just a little bit, half an inch around the center, is going to be enough to twist the club in any particular way and cause the ball to start off and fly differently than if it had struck the center of the club face. If you're hitting the ball in the heel, the club face will get twisted closed nearly instantly at the strike of the ball, and it will tend to cause the ball to start more leftwards than if it had hit the club face. So if you have a path of 0 degrees and a face angle that's dead straight at the target, but you strike the ball in the heel, the club will close, the ball will start left, and depending on how much bulge and roll your club has, may tail slice spin back to center. This can be very curious for golfers who normally play a draw from the inside, and all of a sudden they hit one that starts left. It'd be very easy, and I've seen this a lot. You hit the ball here a few times and it starts left on you. It'd be very easy for you to get confused and think that your club path is getting outside to in. You must be getting over the top of it since you're getting a banana-shaped golf shot, when you might actually be excessively in to out and just be striking it in the heel. So heel strikes will tend to start more left with left to right spin. Now, irons tend to not have any bulge and roll, so you won't quite get the correcting curve off of a center strike or an off-center strike as you would with a driver. It has the most bulge and roll or curvature in the face, almost like a dome. Very subtle though. Opposite if you hit the toe. The club face will get torqued open. The ball will start more rightwards, but the curvature of the face may work to put a little bit of hook spin back into it. Now, if you hit it way extreme, heel or toe, you're just going to be beyond the club's ability to correct and you'll really go left or you'll really go right with no comeback involved. What a lot of people don't know is that the bottom and the top, you get the same type of effect. If you hit the bottom of the face, the club actually hoods over like this. Remember, the top of the club is not getting slowed down by the impact equally, so it keeps going and it rolls the club over like this. So the ball will be hit with less loft effectively, and it'll come out really low to help correct for that super low shot staying airborne. These are the drives that tend to look good in the air, but they tend to not go very far. So if you get a low rising drive, you probably hit it here, and it has a lot of spin and it doesn't roll very far. Now up here close to the top of the face, again, the low part of the club is going to undercut, the ball is going to launch higher, and it's going to have less backspin, and so you'd get a high knuckleball. Now these shots tend to go pretty far, even though they don't feel dead solid, because high launch, low spin is the best way to hit a ball for distance. And so that, on accident, you hit it up here on the top of the face, you can hit some really big drives. Probably the biggest drives are going to come from a little bit high and towards the toe, because you're going to get high launch and you're going to get low spin, and you're going to get a little bit of a turning over hook that really rolls a long way. So some of my longest drives have come just off the center, closer towards the high toe just a little bit. And a lot of the shortest drives I've ever hit come from the low heel, where I get a low launch and high spin, a little bit of a pull and a slice, and the ball doesn't really travel very far. You have that extra dimension that you add into face and path becomes pretty complex, but once you understand, and I understand this by just hitting a million shots on the launch monitor here, but once you understand how the ball flies and why it does what it does, why did the ball go slicing off to the right? Was it because of my path? A lot of slicers think that if they swing outside to in, they automatically slice, which is another common misnomer. But if I swung from out to in, but the face was also pointing that way, I'm just going to hit a low pull. So you got to keep all these things in mind, because the flight of the ball becomes probably your biggest piece of feedback. This is why understanding these ball flight laws becomes so integral. It's part of the feedback loop that helps you become another golfer. Study everything that's available to you, and every means necessary, every means available. Study your divots, study the ball flight, study the location of all your strikes on the club face. Study with a launch monitor to understand more. Get feedback. Practice in front of a mirror. Get feedback. Practice with training aids to get feedback. Practice with an expert set of eyes that can give you feedback. But when you're on your own, the ball has the most information on that you can learn from. So you need to know precisely why the ball is doing what it's doing. Hey, I hope this helps. I hope that you'll study and become better at learning why the ball does what it does. Don't let it be a mystery anymore. You need this to be part of your feedback to become better. Just like the guys in the old days who didn't have cameras or TrackMans, they would just study their ball flight, try to fix their swing based on that. So hey, thanks so much for watching. I'm Steve. Head over to my website, hititlonger.com, for over 100 more great videos and articles that are going to help make you better. And as usual, I'll either see you in the next video or I'll see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take good care.